Hi, I'm Carrie Smith.
And I'm Emma Skip, and welcome to It's a Death Sentence.
This is a podcast that takes a lighter look at the heavier things.
So, if you want some of this... So somebody could have been dead for a week and end up with you.
Or maybe longer, and somebody might have said, oh, there's a really bad smell. Or...
A little bit of this.
I haven't got a tissue. I'll get one. You got one. And plenty of this.
So original. Fucking hell. Then this is the show for you. Because
Life,
it's a death sentence.
We're recording, so go for it, yeah.
So welcome to It's a Death Sentence.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. I think what we'll do to start this episode...
Oh, it's the chiming of the bell.
The bell has tolled, Emma. The bell has tolled.
Oh dear.
Let's just say cheers, ladies.
Yes.
This is the most unusual
Cheers.
interview we've done
Cheers.
yet. So
Well, it is
we're
a
joined
festival.
today by Helen and Jess. Helen, I've had the pleasure of knowing for a long time. I used to work with my sister at Birmingham's Edwards Trust.
I did.
And you moved on to pastures new not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So can we start with a little bit of an introduction about you, where you've come from and what you're doing now in the world of death and grief, and then
Okay.
we'll move over to Jess afterwards.
Perfect.
Yes. Didn't have a background in death dying particularly. My background is youth work. I used to work for the Church of England actually. And then from there did various other short-term jobs. And then had a job. I was general manager for the charity that ran Leicester Comedy Festival. So I was with them for a little while, and then I went from there to working at Edwards Trust. So from
we've got
comedy
and
to
grief.
death and dying. Yeah.
And
One-
do you know,
one
that's
step.
amazing. We love a
We
bit of
love
humour.
that.
Yeah, with the death.
We're doing it. Our episode on Saturday is
Comes
about
out. It's called
Oh,
Dead.
great.
It's
And
called
who-
Dead Funny.
Dead Funny.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're
I,
huge advocates for that.
Yeah.
We were going to do an event, and then COVID happened for Brum YODO, and we were planning it just before COVID. That was called Dead Funny.
Oh,
Oh,
brilliant.
amazing.
Yeah.
So
But-
just for our listeners who don't
Yeah.
know, what is Brum YODO?
Oh yeah, so Brum YODO stands for Birmingham You Only Die Once,
Right.
and it's a CIC, community interest company, set up to encourage more people to talk about death and dying, and often that's through creative things, or the arts, or comedy, or people might have heard of death cafes. That's only a slim part of what we do. So the festival that we run is called A Matter of Life and Death Festival, and it runs in May during Dying Matters Awareness Week. But it's so big, we run it for 2 weeks, don't we, Johnny?
We do, because it's too much to fit in.
Yeah, it's cramming too many events.
Yeah.
But so A Matter of Life and Death Festival is coming soon, which is why
Do
we
you
want
tell
to
our listeners the
come on
dates?
and talk about it. Yes,
Yes,
it's going to be running from the 5th to the 17th of May.
Okay. So what we'll do, I think, at this point is let's just introduce Jess.
Okay.
And
Hello,
then
everyone.
I think we're going to give you the stage then just to promote the
Yeah,
festival.
tell us all
and
about
tell us
it.
all about the event. So Jess, over to you.
Okay, so I am a community worker, youth and community worker. I've been doing it for years and years and years. I am based at, more recently, so the whole death thing and being part of Brum YODO is quite new to me. In fact, I think I might be the newest member of. Yes, I think I am.
Yes, you are. Yes,
Not the youngest, but the newest.
definitely not the youngest.
Definitely not the youngest. But there we go. So I'm currently based in Northfield, and I work for an organisation, a small charity called Northfield Community Partnership on the High Street of Northfield in Birmingham. And basically we started, because I run a project called Neighbourhood and Network Schemes, which is supporting older people and adults with disabilities. It's all kind of funded through adult social care. We got into that whole kind of arena of death and how people prepare themselves for it and how they talk about it. And we kind of started getting involved from a very local level in a thing that Birmingham is part of, which is compassionate communities. So Birmingham is a compassionate city. And so I kind of, from that angle, as a community worker in a very local area, started getting involved in that whole compassionate community agenda. We started looking at how do we create spaces in the communities that we serve, like lots of the community centres, places like that. How do we create safe places where people can talk about grief, can talk about loss? it's one of those things where you quite often might have a community centre manager who has known Mrs. So-and-so forever, and then she knows that she's lost her husband, but then when she comes in, she's like, I don't know how to talk about this. And they're not, generally now in society, we're not equipped to help people. And
people just avoid, don't they?
Yeah, they're just like, hi, or I'll just cross the road, or not even mention their name. So we did I kind of reached out to another member of Brum YODO before I knew about Brum YODO. A lady called Suzanne, who was working in a hospice, and she was doing a thing called bereavement awareness training, which is really, it's not counselling, it's helping your average general public person, your average community centre manager, to be able to think, right, how do I just
approach this subject?
Exactly, all of that kind of thing. So I got into it through that, and we've now set up in Northfield, there are a growing number, we've got about 3 or 4 bereavement support groups. But then we did a thing, then I met Helen, who is
Where did you meet me, Jess?
I met Helen. I've known you for years in that kind of hiya on basically Sturchley. We're both Sturchley people. We're both Sturchley proud, very, very proud. And then it was dog walking, and then I got involved in all of this stuff through Susanna, through Compassionate Cities, communities.
And you came to a few, didn't you, last year?
I started, yes. Well, because we got involved as a team, because I manage a team of 3 or 4 people, I said, you need to get along to some of these events that Brum YODO were doing. And that's where we met you and running some of those events.
Just at Juna Lounge, that one.
And Juna Lounge, yeah. So
I think we're going to come to that one this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're lovely.
We've got penciled in. We've got lots of
food as well.
We've
got 4 or 5 things that we're going to attend if we're allowed.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, good.
Can we rewind just quickly and just talk about what qualifies a city as being a compassionate city? Because
that's you.
Well, you explained this theory to me just on our brief conversation before we set this up. But I'd never heard of it. Did you know what it was, Karen?
No.
So for our listeners, can you just give us a quick overview of what qualifies us as a...
4 years ago?
Yeah, I think Birmingham City got Compassionate City because of it was recognising the work around COVID. Yeah, okay. So it was really recognising that basically across Birmingham, communities, there's those tiny little groups, all came out, neighbours came out, everybody was looking after each other, and actually all that stuff around food parcels and that stuff around just supporting people who were losing people.
It's got a better sense of community, and we don't do it.
Yeah,
we just don't. We're not good at it. We do it for a little bit, and then we need these groups, don't we, to rely on these groups that bring people together.
That's it. So I think it's like a watermark, a charter. You've got this kind of badge to say,
but you have to fulfil certain bits of criteria, don't you, to get awarded it. We were the first compassionate city as opposed to compassionate communities that have been happening in other places.
Yeah. Ben was one of the
first.
But
I think partly
but it's still on a journey.
Was a lot of the work that Brum YODO do, and the National Life and Death Festival. That was a lot of tick boxes for them. And will continue to be so, I think.
And I think it's, to be fair to the City Council, it's a journey as well. It's not like that's it, you've got the mark. There's all kinds of, they have different themes of work. Okay. So they're looking at how they support prisoners, how they support schools, the bit I'm in is interesting is the kind of neighbourhood stuff. Yes. So there's about 7 or 8 strands of work that they have to keep doing as part of the charter. That's kind of what it is.
So going back to YODO, you're only YODO. It's like YOLO. YODO. I love that. I think it's great. The festival is for 2 weeks of the year. Do they do anything else other than that festival? Is there lots of things throughout the year, or is it just one big festival?
I think I've got confused here. So the festival isn't Birmingham YODO. They're part of
Brum
the festival.
YODO runs a Matter of Life and Death Festival.
Matter of Life and Death Festival. This is where, sorry,
and
I've menopause brain.
Brum YODO's the organisation, which is all volunteers, about 7 or 8 volunteers.
Yeah, we're all volunteers.
And then those people, there's a thing every May called Dying Matters Awareness Week.
And that's national, isn't it?
And that's national.
Yes,
right.
So that's what we tag on to.
And then because that's happening, Brum YODO said, let's do a festival in that week.
Gosh, so there's lots of different
layers.
people involved in the whole thing.
It's really about collaboration.
Yeah.
We don't want to we're all volunteers, we don't want to organise all these things. So we work with other organisations, say, hey, do you want to do something for a Matter of Life and Death Festival, for Dying Matters Awareness Week? So we've got the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery involved. They're running the bookshops. Licky's Walk.
Licky's Walk, that's more of a community thing, but we've got a nice walk in the Lickies.
Other walks, we've got an interfaith walk, so going around to different places of worship to talk with them about how they mark death and dying and how they deal with grief and bereavement.
Something new this year.
Oh yes,
Memorial.
my favourite.
This is Helen's
Yeah,
favourite.
We're going to
You talk about that one because you love that one.
Last year we ran an event called To Absent Friends, which was to encourage people to bring along an object or something that reminded them of a loved one that they lost. Emma, you came along to that with Sophie and others. And so people could bring whatever they wanted. It could be a photo, it could be an object, it could be a song.
Did someone bring a song?
Yeah, that's someone over there. In fact, yeah.
We wrote a little song.
Yeah,
Did you?
just for your mum. Yeah,
Yeah, it was lovely. Lovely event as
yes.
well. Really nice location, the venue was beautiful, and the people that came were so diverse, but just all came together.
Yeah,
It was really lovely.
and I think the thing about that is often you just need a hook to start those conversations.
Like these cards.
Yeah, like these cards, the death deck we're going to be using this year, just to kind of prompt conversations. But bringing an object, I mean, it's like school, isn't it? It's like anything. Have an object to talk about, and that helps you to talk about the person or the memory or the thing. So one of the people that came last year brought on her arm a tattoo, a memorial tattoo in memory of her son. So that made me think, oh, do you know what? There are going to be loads of people out there with tattoos.
I know people
because
have had
of loved
ashes
ones.
put into them.
Yeah. So
This
that's
is a
an
big
interesting thing that
Yeah.
we will be talking about during this session. The tattoo place we're going to, it's called...
Just so you know somebody that's done that.
Yeah,
Wow.
2 people have
Wow,
had that I know
really?
have had
Yeah,
ashes
yeah.
put into
And
them.
how
Yeah.
healthy has that tattoo stayed?
It's been fine.
Has it?
Yeah.
From your point of view, as like your
I mean-
medical background, is it an issue with doing something like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I'm
No,
not a
well,
tattoo
surely
artist,
no
but
more so than just using ink.
Ink.
yeah, I mean, like, you know,
Well, yeah,
you
but
can have a
it's-
reaction to ink, can't you? But, you know, it's basically, if it's cremated, it's sterile, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Yeah.
but
gotta
it's
be,
still
isn't it?
bone and... Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
would
like, it is
destroy
still,
any
but
strand of
there's no,
DNA
like,
or
there wouldn't
anything
be
like that.
any bacteria in it because it's heated so high,
No.
isn't there? So
Some
temperature, high
tattoo
temperature.
studios say we wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
Other
some
tattoo
others
studios
do.
say we would do it.
I mean, it's
and others
interesting to
say-
find out.
Will we
Yeah.
see more
Is she
and
going to
more
talk
of
about
this?
that?
Yeah. So I think that'll be part of the discussion because it is
Yeah.
quite controversial within tattoo studios. I think some say we will do it if you have the ink, mix the ash in with the ink, and then bring the ink back to us.
Oh,
And
so
sign
the
a
onus is on
disclaimer.
that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, it's some disclaimer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
sign this waiver.
Yeah,
yeah,
so, yeah.
But you know, if something happens, they don't want to be
Absolutely, yeah.
cut the slack for it. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
But it links really neatly with one of the projects that we've been working with in Northfield is an art and loss art project.
Oh yeah.
Which is community artists in Northfield has been working with a community around looking at the kind of traditions of people using art in the olden, like she was looking at Victorians and what they used to do to kind of remember their loved ones, and so they used to take bits of hair, so it's a bit like the tattoos, but they would cut off locks of hair and then make things with it. I mean, it could just be put in a locket, but they actually made really intricate art, artistic kind of.
We get asked that
what I
quite
mean.
often at the mortuary to take
Have
locks
some
of
hair.
hair.
Yeah.
And if it's long, I tend to
I
plait
bet you
it
do.
and then put it in like a nice thing
Yeah.
for them. But yeah,
So they've
that is
got,
quite often that's a
Yeah.
request.
So they've made
Have you ever
all
been asked for anything
sorts
other than hair?
I can't disclose.
But we were
That's
saying
a
to
yes.
the artist that she's taken this group of all these people through all these different art practices that were done. But if she brought it right up to the modern day, it would probably be tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's a
actually,
brilliant link.
we just had an interview with a guy who has a studio called Dread Boy Studios,
Okay.
and he is doing a project with us about the masks that people wear when they're grieving. He makes masks. He's a mask maker.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to get him to make some masks, and he sent us some prototypes
yeah,
already.
That'll be good for a Matter of Life and Death Festival next year.
Well, I was just thinking, I've got a couple of ideas.
Yeah, there's always a new idea.
Because you've got some
Something to-
sculptures this year that are grief masks, haven't you? Little
Well,
tiny-
that's going to be at Stetchley Library. They're going to be
Yeah.
there first, and then we've got an artist. Oh, we've got loads of kind of arty things. We've got some sculptures coming to the. We've got a bigger event at the end of the festival on 17th of May at Birmingham Library, and that's kind of a culmination of lots
Library
of
of
things that have
Birmingham.
happened in the festival. So it's artwork,
Yeah.
some of the artwork that you guys have done over
Yeah.
that way, and also poetry. We've got a session called The Comfort of Poetry, and this woman who lost her brother wrote a poem for every day or every week? Every week.
Every week, yeah.
And hung it on a tree outside a house in COVID. So couldn't do much else, didn't know how to, struggling to know how to grieve. And then people used to come past and read, the new poems
And
in
add.
a tree and add to them. So we've got some of those poems in a tree that we're going to put up in the library.
That's
Yeah.
lovely.
And then the other poetry thing.
And then the poetry thing that we're
It's
doing
Lickies,
is with Spaz, Esposito, Spaz the poet.
It's the laureate.
Yeah. So he's quite a character.
Okay.
So he's going to take. We've booked him to do a memory walk around the Licky Hill. So like a guided, very accessible walk. Lots of people can come. Can even wheelchairs. And basically the idea is they go on the guided walk. They can go on it and just enjoy the nature and the outdoors, but also they can also take along a memory, talk to each other about somebody that they've lost, somebody close to them who's died, and then at the end of the walk they're going to go and write a little poem. If they want to. But I think everyone goes, I can't write poetry. But then with Spaz there, they just get inspired and they're going to write, it could be poems about nature, it could be poems for their loved one or about their loved one.
We all need to be led in some way, which is why group works so well.
Yeah. But I think creative things particularly, that's the kind of unlocking to express some of this deeper stuff that we're not very
I went
good
to a
at
group
talking about.
yesterday to promote all this stuff,
Yeah.
and there was 3 or 4 of them were like, I'll come to the Lickies. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh great, that's going to be a good one.
And I think that whole nature thing as well is important.
And when you go on the Licky Hills, how many benches are there in memorial? There's loads, so there's all that connection as well. It's often
A lot of
place.
people we've spoke to say that when they're grieving, their way of like dealing with grief is often getting outside in the natural elements, and that's helped them through it. So doing a memory walk like that sounds amazing.
So that's Saturday the 10th of May.
Ladies, do you want to take us through each event? I think is that useful?
Call them out.
Yeah, call them out. Like, go from top to bottom.
Come on then, Helen. Let's go for it.
Natural burial site. We've run this one for a number of years now. Ali, one of our team, is going to be running a death cafe there. That's the first event. That's on the 6th of May, Tuesday the 6th. So death cafes are, you have tea and coffee and a piece of cake, whatever, and it's just a no agenda cafe. People come and they just want to talk about death, and it can go. There's no, wherever it wants really, depending on the people in the room. So
it's a bit like us.
No death cafes.
It's like this podcast.
It's very similar.
So we've got a few death cafes. There's that one in the Longhouse at Sunrise
Tuesday,
and then we've also got another one. This is not chronological order now, at the Museum and Art Gallery later on. But yeah, so Tell It to the Bees is a theatre piece. That is a little bit further south. That's in Southam. Suzanne's leading this one. So Natural Undertaking are a few. Do you know
Carrie and
Fran?
Carrie.
And they were part of setting up Brum YODO initially.
Yes.
So 10 years ago, they were key people in that, and are still. We've got a team that that run it, us volunteers, but then we've also got associates that know what we do and believe in what we do. So they're still associates of Brum YODO. So they're hosting 2 events. They've got a new place in Hall Green now.
Yeah.
So they're hosting a conversation about making uncomfortable conversations more comfortable.
And showing people inside an undertaker as
We've
well.
got an alarm going on.
That noise.
Yeah. Do you want to stop that?
Is that in microwave?
No.
What is it? Will it
Is it
stop?
telling you to do something?
It will stop.
That's fine, just leave it then.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a heart monitor. And then it stops.
Saying emergency.
Yeah.
When you got too excited, you're going to have to calm down.
When you want to set an alarm and then you just forget, you don't turn it on, you don't unset it, and it just
It's fine.
It does this every day.
But you haven't unset it yet.
Correct.
Just reminding you you're alive.
Yeah.
Still here.
What would you normally be doing at half?
Well, nothing.
6?
But once I set it, and
It's gin o'clock. Sweet.
Is it like you
Yeah.
didn't need
O'clock.
that?
Right.
Making uncomfortable conversations more comfortable. Suzanne's leading that, and that's just about the difficult things. But particularly, a lot of people, when they come to these events, go, do you know what, I haven't written a will, or sorted out my power of attorney, and some of that stuff, that stuff is really important. And
Death
because
admin.
we don't have those conversations...
It's also very complicated for a lot of people.
Yes,
It's a
but if you
completely
don't
different
do
world.
it, it's
it's
even more
all-
complicated.
Yeah, probate. No one wants to do that.
Yeah. So actually having the conversations now, although it's hard, is really important. So that will be kind of prompting some of that end of life stuff, preparing for it. And some people come to death cafes going, I know I need to do something, but I don't know what.
They feel
What should I
overwhelmed
do?
because they're emotionally overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and then they've got to do all these practical
Yeah,
tasks.
so
they
do
get
it
support
earlier.
to that practical stuff as well.
Do it before sort yourself out, and then you can. One of the questions that we sometimes ask is what makes a good death, and actually, if you've done your life admin, as you said,
Death admin.
death admin. Sorry, not life admin. That's
Life ceases to be.
I've been doing that for
Yeah.
Slip.
then it's going to be easier for the ones you leave behind, isn't it? If you're already kind of
But the death cafes I've been to haven't been about people who've lost somebody. They've been about people who are very much alive, but are worrying about what they need to do. Then
so that's on the first Tuesday. Then the tattoos is on the Wednesday the 7th. Interfaith walk is Thursday. That's around Handsworth.
That's a long walk.
That is a long walk, but you get free lunch.
Oh, nice. You get free lunch.
That's a bonus.
That's good. To various places of faith.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's just quite a night. It was good. Sturchy art room.
So this is the sculptures that we were talking about.
Yep.
Bold statements they're called, and they're about kind of different stages of grief, but in beautiful cast iron. I think now.
I've never seen them. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see them on the 17th.
Yeah, I've heard about them.
So that's in Sturchley. Death Over Drinks is in Sturchley.
Death Over Drinks in the Anjuna Lounge.
Wine and tasty food at the Anjuna Lounge.
So have we all got that? That's on Thursday, the 8th of May.
That's in my diary already.
Yeah. Both coming.
So which one do you like the most?
And just really informal. I've run that now for a number of years.
Yes, you
there,
have.
and it's been different every time. And this year we're going to be using.
It's a double act.
It was double act before when you came, but I did it with Suzanne. Do you not remember?
No.
Did you only remember me? Oh, that's nice.
I didn't go to that. No, I went to one about lawyers.
No, that was a double act too because I don't know enough about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Gosh, I thought we were going to have to intervene then. Break up a fight.
Bad memories. That's all it is.
Oh, Catherine Mannix now.
Oh, sold out. Don't tell them it's sold out.
If you want to do some reading around what end of life looks like, Catherine Mannix is your woman. She is
I did do a little bit of research on her just after we spoke.
And also I've met her a couple of times. She's just lovely as well.
Can you just get her to come on our podcast? If you're listening,
that'd be good.
Yeah.
This would be amazing.
Catherine?
Yeah, so they're working on that in partnership with the Heath Bookshop in Kings Heath and Mary Stevens Hospice. And that's already sold out. So that is going to be great, but you can't go to it. But read
Can we have
read her books.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
it's probably the best thing ever.
Best thing on the programme.
Can you take a little video for us so we feel like we've been there?
Then you've got your...
Yay! Memory walk with Spos.
In the
Memory
Lickies.
walk Saturday, 1 o'clock. It's going to be fab.
Oh, and then
It's
also...
going to be sunshine, lots of sunshine.
Kevin Thomas. So Kevin Thomas does lots of walks around Birmingham, kind of history walks. Really great, really engaging. It's not like a boring history thing.
Five ways to die in Birmingham. It's a good title, isn't it?
So, obviously, you might not know, but lots of famous people have died in Birmingham. So it's looking at that. Loads of interesting people have died in some of our Birmingham cemeteries.
Like who?
Mr. Bird's Custard.
Yeah.
He died in Birmingham. Eating custard.
Eating custard. Oh, because
we've got the custard factory.
We've got the custard factory, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so he's from there. And he invented custard for his wife, didn't he? Something like that. But we've got the catacombs there. Have you been to the catacombs?
No.
Have you been to the catacombs?
No.
Have you been to the catacombs?
No.
Right, we should go. It's a fulsome
Put it in a day.
Which cemetery is that in?
Gosh.
One of them. But
The
the ones
Jewellery
in Jewellery
Quarter.
Quarter. Yeah, there are two main ones in the Jewellery Quarter.
Yes, I have seen them. Sorry, I'm lying.
Oh, you
I'll
have?
see them again.
I went to a tour of the cemetery once on my birthday with my mum.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah, we know how to live.
So positive.
Yeah. So that's also another walk on the Saturday. Then we've got the poetry thing that I was
We're
talking
into the
about
second
earlier.
week now. We're into the second week.
week 2. Poetry, that's at Thimble Mill Library.
Thimble Mill Library's gorgeous.
Where is that?
Bearwood.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's a cute little library.
So again, it will be looking at some of her poetry, but also writing your own poetry. Meet the Undertakers. Tell us about that one.
We've done that one because
No, you
that's their
haven't.
second one.
Yeah, but it's different.
Oh, okay. I've been to this. It's really good. It's in Kings Heath.
Did you go?
On the Vicarage Road.
The
yeah.
tour?
I've done the tour, yeah.
Oh, I was a good tour.
That was one of me. We need to get out. It was when I was learning about it. And I thought I'll go to that. Sounds exciting. There weren't any dead bodies, of course.
Of course.
But it was pretty good, and it was packed.
So that will be popular, but they're coming to our event at the library on the 17th.
And did they show you around the mortuary and the whole shebang?
Yeah. It's really
nice.
So I want to go, but it's always sold out.
You need to. Surely with a
Knock
Brum
on the
YODO,
door.
you
Well,
can
you'd
go.
think so, wouldn't you?
I will assist.
Just flash your Brum YODO card.
Yeah, we need
get
to
you in.
clearly need one.
But they're coming on the 17th and doing some creative stuff, so they're quite a creative.
They're a creative
undertakers.
crew.
So they're bringing their cardboard coffin on the 17th. So that'll be like the feature piece at Birmingham Library.
Is it flat pack? Can they build it there?
Oh yeah, I imagine it is.
Brilliant.
Did you see a cardboard coffin?
Well, a cardboard coffin, funnily enough, came. I was talking about the Northfield stuff. We have a Northfield beach,
right.
And we have a beach every summer that takes over the whole of Victoria Common, and it's like loads of stuff, loads of families. But 2 years ago, when we got into all this stuff, they brought a cardboard coffin.
And
but
was it
came,
flat pack?
no, it came like a coffin
Oh, did it?
in the back of a car. Yeah.
You'd
To
think
the
it would be
beach.
flat pack, wouldn't it? Like
To the beach.
To the
Sorry,
beach.
it was
It's a bit
quite-
morbid.
cardboard.
Had a whole marquee that was all compassionate
see one.
communities.
Did you hear that?
No, sorry, we were talking.
Sorry. So I was like, well, the card would have to be quite, strong and resilient. And Helen said, well, you carry heavy washing machines and cardboard.
Cardboard, it's got to be quite sturdy.
Does that make you feel better, darling?
The weight of this human who is dead. Well, it's
Oh, she's similar to a
equivalent
tumble dryer.
We know exactly what we've got.
We know what we're working with here. At least a couple of kilograms.
It's all about the structure of the cardboard, I believe.
Well, that would be
they're bringing
interesting.
their cardboard
Yeah.
coffin to
Cardboard
decorate.
coffin. It will be decorated.
And also,
jukebox.
jukebox.
Oh,
There
jukebox.
we are.
We had that
At
at
the
the beach
library.
as well.
Did you?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So
The
the
whole
natural undertakers brought their coffin, but they also brought a jukebox. And basically, the idea was people would come. You were invited to think about what you'd like played at your funeral, and then basically they were playing it throughout the whole time. There was queues of people. They were like, I mean, we heard some songs several times. Because some of them were quite
did
popular.
it my
there are some, yes.
way.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Baby Like My Fire, all sorts of things. There were lots of fire ones.
Ring of fire. Ring of fire. Yeah.
But it's actually, because people come in and find that funny, and then they actually come in, and then they actually, there's loads of, there was like compost making to show children how, like you die,
Things
but then
die.
grow
Yeah.
through the
Brilliant.
There was all sorts of like,
And the pets one, we're doing that,
we're
aren't
doing
we?
that again.
Over the
We had a
rainbow.
little over the
Beyond the
rainbow
rainbow.
pets come or whatever.
Over? Beyond? Yeah,
But
but
it's a-
that concept about
Yeah.
when a pet dies. And so a lot of children were engaged with that particularly.
Yeah,
but
so
I
they
liked
sit
it
down
too.
and have a chat.
That's
That's
often their
interesting.
first
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
thing
very
of
expensive.
death.
A couple of
isn't
people
it?
have mentioned to us about would we do a podcast about the death of pets? And
Pets, yeah.
I think our initial reaction was like, this is in its infancy still, but actually I can now see the link
Yeah.
when talking to children. If that is their
There is-
first experience of grief and loss,
That's how you start the
that,
conversation.
it is a conversation. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what
So
we
you'd
need
in
to
the
do.
tent, you might have a kid sitting over here talking about their pet and sitting, and then over on a big board over there, there's a parent, a mum or a dad actually still grieving their pet, the loss of their parent, and putting memorials up. It was all very
Well, I
cathartic.
think it's really good as
As
well
well
to
as slightly
have that
bad.
exposure with the children. So like we talk about this quite a lot. We've both got young children, but making sure they're present and understand, if the adult is upset, what's happening, and be very clear with them about it.
Well, I think that's what the kind of main thing of Brum YODO is normalising. That's kind of the sort of mission, isn't
Yeah,
it? To normalise those conversations.
And that is our mission
So
also.
how do
it
we
sort of
get,
aligns.
How do we
Yeah.
get Yodo status?
It really does.
How do we?
Yeah,
achieve
how do
that?
we become
Well, you've got to hang
Yodos?
out with us a little bit more.
That can be
Join.
arranged.
I mean, if we walk through
Gin
the
and
door to a
tonic.
gin and tonic, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So in answer to your question about 10 minutes ago,
Oh yes.
we run the festival, but we also do other things in between. So yes, absolutely, we could do various specials or things, and involve you a little bit more if you've got stuff going on.
Absolutely.
But anything and everything, people come to us, and we are
We
raising
respond to things.
a profile. People, if we find out that there's a theatre piece on such and such, death related, we might approach them and say, after that, do you fancy doing a panel and have a discussion about what's happening? So they go, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So
And then we could record that panel for you.
Yeah,
and it could be
yeah.
on our podcast.
So, but living in the moment, seeing what's going on, and
I think
kind
there's
of
a link
tapping
going
into
on
that.
here.
There's got to be.
There's a
There's got to
strong
be.
thing.
Right,
we
we've done
started with the Undertakers, didn't we? There.
Yeah,
And then
To Absent Friends. It's another one. Basically, to Absent Friends, you've already talked about, and you know what it is. But in Northfield, we've kind of taken that and given it a bit of a polish and made it very Northfield. So there's a couple of colleagues run Absent Friends, maybe sort of 3 or 4 times a year at the Black Horse in Northfield.
I know it.
And
Yeah.
it's very much, and the Black Horse is really, they've been really supportive, and they talk about, actually, this is a really brilliant idea.
Big shout out to the Black
Because-
Horse.
Because quite often, maybe lonely people who have lost their wife or their husband are in the Black Horse, and actually
Coming in for a party.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, whether they're attracted to this to Absent Friends, it's going to take time. We've been doing this about a year, so we've probably had about 3 or 4 of them, and there's a regular. I think the last time they had about 12 people come. And there's usually about 6 to 8, and and it's brilliant. Apparently, it's an eclectic mix of the Northfield community, in all its beauty. And it's really, I mean, what we do is it's not just, people come to the pub and they get a meal and a drink, and then they toast their friend or their loved one who's no longer with them.
That's beautiful.
Works really well.
Really wonderful.
But particularly for this Amalad, we're moving it to the Navigation Inn, because we're kind of going Kings Norton, Northfield, Kings Norton, Northfield.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Navigation Inn on the 14th of May.
Okay.
And then on the Thursday, the 15th of May, obviously, well, you might know Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery has been closed for refurbishment and work for a little while, but they're gradually starting to reopen galleries, and they've got this one gallery called The Elephant in the Room.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Great name, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what they're going to do as part of the festival is do a tour of that newly opened gallery, looking at different artefacts and bits of artwork, and just kind of exploring death and dying through art and artefacts there. So really pleased to get them back involved.
That's in the diary, that one.
With
You
that,
got that
that's
one in.
that's
Yeah.
Thursday the 15th, and following that, Jess,
Following
you're
that,
leading a death cafe
I'm not leading it.
in the cafe.
I'm doing that thing where I help Ali.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Pop-up death, we're calling it, is on the Saturday, so that's the final event of the whole festival. And
What's
so
that?
yeah,
Sorry, what's that called?
Pop-up
Pop-up
death.
death.
Pop-up death.
yeah,
Like that.
Great name.
So that's, as I said, a culmination of all of the things, many of the things.
And
that
you've got
happened
you've
for
got a
that
lot of
festival.
people in attendance of that one as well, haven't you?
Yes. So who else is there? We've got
Hutch.
Child Bereavement UK are there doing some activities, particularly with children.
We've got the Art and Lost people that I was talking about.
yeah.
They're going to showcase what they've done, and then the artist is going to do a workshop around buttons, memorial buttons,
And we've got those sunrise paintings.
sunrise paintings.
So again, a woman grieving painted a picture of a sunrise every day for a year as she grieved.
We
Again,
haven't got
it was
enough
during.
room to show
No, we
them
haven't got
all.
enough room for that. But some will be on the screen. We've got like a video screen, and
Beautiful.
some will be displayed. But they are beautiful. Some, you know, we kind of we.
How
heard
lovely to
about the idea.
recognise these people who've done these things. As
I
well.
know, it's such a beautiful
That and
thing to
the lady
do.
with the poems and the tree.
Yeah.
It's really
yeah.
nice. And they're both local people, aren't they? They're both from Birmingham.
Yes, West Midlands.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
Birmingham?
West Mids, I think. Could be just outside.
So yeah, so that's about 15, 16 events throughout the whole of the festival.
So, ladies, if listeners want to get information,
Mm-hmm.
where is best to go to?
Go to the Brum YODO website, which is www.brumyodo.org.uk/events, and it's all
But then
there.
more details about the rest of Brum
So the
YODO
whole
and-
festival will be on the Brum YODO
Yes.
site.
It's all there.
Yeah. So it's you can find
Individually.
out about the events on the events page, but everything else about Brum YODO, its history and background and
Social
social medias as well. Yeah,
Mm.
Twitter not so much
Some
anymore.
of the events,
but
it's worth going on and booking because they're through Eventbrite.
Yes.
So there's a lot that are drop-ins, like the last one, the big finale at the Library of
Mm.
Birmingham. You just turn up to that. That's fine.
So
But some of
presumably
the
some of
others-
these walks, like the history walk,
Yeah,
they might
they've
start to
limited.
fill up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
some you have to pay for, but we try and make all our events free if we possibly can. But if we're working with other organisations, sometimes there's a charge. But most of them, yeah. In terms of the tattoo place, there's a limited. So many of them have limited numbers. So book if you
where is
can.
that tattoo place? We don't
Lucky Rabbit, it's called, in the Jewellery Quarter.
Okay. Should we finish with this death deck?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Yeah.
this could be really interesting. So
I really want one of these.
I know. Well,
This is
should
the
we
death
invest?
deck.
Should we invest?
Yeah, I feel like this is
How
like,
much are they?
I don't know.
They're quite expensive.
Oh, are
Oh, quite expensive.
They're not cheap.
they? Couldn't you?
I could write you one myself.
So again, for our listeners, the death deck. How
Is it-
you've explained it to me, they're conversation starters.
Yeah, it's a pack of
So
cards,
it's almost
but with a
like,
conversation
that's not good, is it?
conversation starter question on each card. Some of them are a bit bizarre.
I can see
So
a bluey purple and a yellow.
there are dig deep cards, which are thought-provoking questions. There
Yeah.
are final answer cards.
I take your final answer, just your final answer.
Party play. Goodness me. Right, go on then, pick one.
Just pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
I do it like this. Are we all doing it?
Yeah.
Are we all going to do one each or? Yeah.
go on.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
There we go.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I'll have one as well.
Oh gosh, mine's
Is it horrid?
Is yours a bit silly?
I think
no.
some of them are a
It
bit
requires
Mine's
requires
quite poignant.
thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, let's put that back in the
Have
pack.
you got one,
then.
Jess?
Jess, you've got your card. So
I
let's
have.
Carrie, you want to go first?
Okay,
I've
right.
decided to film this bit, so we'll do this as a little.
Okay, so mine is Good Grief, and it says, "Who doesn't love a good eulogy? Start yours today by sharing one piece of advice for those left behind. There's your G&T.
Oh, there's my G,
That's
I
not
need
my
that.
advice. My eulogy would probably start with, sweetheart. That's one of my sayings. Darling. Do the thing. That's my thing. Just do it. Go for life. That's what my one piece of advice is. This year I have gone for it and I'm not frightened of doing anything. Hence the podcast. So that would be my one piece of advice.
Yes, embrace life.
Embrace life.
Live
it, baby. Sweetheart.
Beautiful.
Love it.
That was beautiful.
Good.
Let's come round to Jess.
right. Mine is. I need to put my glass down. Scarface.
Don't call me that.
Very
Look
rude.
at you, Scarface. Every scar tells a story.
Oh.
Some even brushes with death.
Dun dun.
Show everyone one of your scars.
Oh, this is
and
good.
let its story come alive.
Oh, I like this.
Wow.
It's very personal,
Have you got a
isn't it?
scar?
Have you got a good
I
one?
do have a scar.
Do you?
I
I don't
do
know
have a
this.
scar.
Tell me, show me.
It's not, I didn't.
It's a
well, I
poster.
might have nearly died.
Don't take your trousers off.
No, it's an easy one. It's an
Oh.
arm.
An arm
Oh.
scar.
Yeah.
Coming in
Oh
for
yes,
the
that's a
arm
beauty.
Yeah,
that's good,
It's
that.
quite a good scar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
happy with that. It's not on the face though.
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite small now.
And what's the
Carry
story?
on.
So the story is-
You just arrived at yours and you were looking.
I'm like, oh, she's got a scar.
We all had a look at the scar.
Distinguishing feature.
Tell us.
So the story was, I was about 18 months old, and it was at a time, so my mum and dad were living in, it's like, I'm the first, so I'm the oldest, don't have any other children yet, and they're living in a bedsit right at the top in a little attic, and they're trying to get me ready for my dinner, and they've left it a bit late, so I am not very happy.
Is it a burn?
So I'm just going like this while my mum was trying to put me in the high chair, and I leaned over and got the hot kettle
Oh, yeah, with the
all
burn.
over, and then I had the whole
Bet she was
little cardigan on.
devastated.
Yeah, and then she had to put me in the bath to try and diddle.
Do you still hold that against her? Do you still go, Mum?
No,
hold it
it's
under her
all right.
face? Remember that
It's
time?
all right. My dad says because I was the first, you should drop me downstairs as well. Yeah. When I was about,
That
just went
explains a
about
few
it, yeah.
things.
well, that's what the rest of the family say. So yeah. So that's it. But yeah, obviously I have no memory of it.
Well, we were talking about pets earlier, so let me tell you mine. Mine is your significant other dies. What area would you struggle with most? Making money and managing the household, raising the kids, or emotional support. I don't have a significant other, so
Not
it
even
would
me?
be no, not even you. But also you've not died.
Yet.
So I would have to say that my significant other, the most impact a death has had on me thus far has been my dog. Whatever people think about that, I don't care. But it was when Donkey died. And absolutely,
You had a dog called Donkey?
yeah, I had a dog
I
called
love
That
Donkey.
is an amazing
Did you never
name.
meet him?
No, I don't think so.
Did you used to say, that'll do, donkey, that'll do?
No, I
That's from
think
Shrek.
I had him before Shrek.
Got the reference.
You had it before Shrek.
Well, I think so. I can't remember when,
What
but
made you call a dog Donkey?
because it sounds good in your mouth.
Donkey.
Donkey.
But he's a
It just
dog.
makes you smile when you say the word, doesn't it? Donkey.
Who's a
Did
good
he-
donkey?
What was his
He
bark
was a
like?
good boy. No, it wasn't like that. No, can't believe you said that. Oh, anyway, emotional support. Of course he was. He was my emotional support, and I was bereft. I remember I went shopping with my mum, who was trying to cheer me up, and she wanted to sort out my cupboards, as your mums do.
Sort out your
Sort out my cupboards. So she said, let's get some Tupperware. So in the middle of trying to choose this Tupperware in the supermarket, I just burst into tears and I had to walk out the shop because I couldn't think about Tupperware when my boy had just died.
Yeah, it's very sad.
So yeah.
People, they're so attached to their...
And for
Their
me,
pets.
living by myself, he was the only
was.
other noise in the house, apart from the
Yeah.
alarms and the clocks. But
The chimes and the bells.
You know the real
tippy
reason for the
toes.
alarms now.
And he's shaking and tippy toeing around the house. He was my only company in the house, and so half of me was gone really in the house.
Oh.
Thank you for sharing that, Helen.
Yeah, now let me hold
Yes,
the
Emma's
thing and I
card.
can record you, my
It's a
dear.
new video, so you can go whenever you're ready.
Oh.
So mine is not at all humorous.
Oh.
Which is sad,
Not
really.
fitting the theme.
But it is, it's very poignant and it's very relevant. So talking about dying and my mortality, I've got A, B and C to choose from. A, reminds me to appreciate life and the time I have. B, isn't my first choice, but I do contemplate it at times. And C is literally the last subject I'd care to discuss. May I be excused now? But I am A all day long. So when I talk about death and dying and mortality and grief and any of those things, I try and be as present as possible, because I think it is the only way through it. And yeah, it does remind us, doesn't it, to appreciate life as much as we can. It doesn't, however, do the dishwasher for you or take away the mundanity of everyday tasks, does it? But yeah, I try and be in that moment, and I do think about it a lot.
Amazing.
So quite a variety of cards then in that pack.
Really good. We definitely need to include
Yes,
these
we're going to
more.
invest
I think
in
we should
this.
maybe do each guest having one.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we've missed? I think we've covered all the events now, haven't we? We've talked about your social media, talked about how people can find you, and I think, ladies, just want to say a massive thank you.
Yeah,
that was
thank you
hugely
so much.
informative, hugely entertaining, and we are really looking forward to coming along
Working
to
and
some of your
seeing you
events.
more.
Yeah.
I think they need to join Brum YODO.
Yes,
I think we do. I think we
Because
should.
you bring all this, don't you?
Yeah.
And this, darling.
Well,
It's just
For the radio. This for the radio.
We have to take
Yes.
two parts, just one for the charisma, don't we?
I know, darling. Yeah. But yeah, we definitely, like I said, your ethos or whatever totally aligns with ours,
Yeah,
and
absolutely
we
does.
just feel
Very
like it's a
yeah.
perfect match.
Yeah.
So we're really
Yeah.
excited about coming
Right.
to see everything this year, and then maybe next year getting involved
Yeah.
if you'll have us. So
Yeah,
that'd be
Yeah,
perfect.
we'd love that. That'd be great.
Thank you, ladies, so
All right,
much.
pleasure.
And we've loved talking to you.
Yeah.
Good, and
Thank
us to you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
thank you.
So thank you, dear listeners. If you've enjoyed our show, then please do all the stuff that will help promote us.
Like and share our podcast and follow us on socials, and please subscribe too. If you've got any feedback, it's most welcome, so please contact us.
Likewise, if there's a subject you'd like us to cover, please do get in touch, and thank you for your support.
We are dying to talk to you.